I'm going to start out with the war in Ukraine, because we've been living in that war ourselves.
Yeah.
And we're just overwhelmed by what we see.
Yes.
The death, the
carnage,
complete destruction of a country.
Yes.
I've never seen anything like that, because we have not. You probably have seen it in person in war, but I've never seen war like this every day on our screens, and just a country basically wiped out. From your standpoint, General, what is the goal? What is the reason that Russia is doing this?
You need to step back a few years and reflect on a statement that Vladimir Putin made, where he talked about the disintegration of the Soviet Union was the largest geopolitical mistake in the 20th century. What he was saying was, when the Soviet Union came apart, that essentially the whole world was paying a price for that. His objective has always been to restore the Soviet Union, to bring back those satellite countries that created the Soviet Union. The obvious one to start with was the Ukraine, and because he had, in his mind, he could justify through his propaganda, he could justify going after the Ukraine simply because at one time it was not only a satellite of Russia, it was part of Russia. And in fact, historically, at one time, it was Russia. And then Moscow sort of became the center of the nation of Russia. But he is trying to restore the Soviet Union, and he had to take the Ukraine first. But I got to tell you, Jim, and we can talk about this as you want to, this is a war of miscalculations. He miscalculated how the Europeans would act, because the Europeans came together. They were unified. He miscalculated how NATO would act. NATO did the same thing. He miscalculated how the tenacity and the war-fighting spirit of the Ukrainian people, and then finally he very much miscalculated the capabilities of his military, which has been a miserable failure. A war that was only supposed to go about 3 days before they had the capital and were in the process of setting up a puppet government has now dragged on for 5 weeks, and it's going to go on even further. So Putin, I think, as a result of this, ultimately, this will be his demise.
Wow. Are you surprised that the Ukraine has fought back instead of surrendering to Russia and Vladimir Putin?
No, Jim, and I was very clear in leading up to this as I did media appearances. I said the Ukrainian people are tough people. Now, they have a lot of corruption in Ukraine as well, and people keep bringing that up as if they forget that we're in America have corruption within our government. So, but they are a tough people. They are a people that have endured a lot of hardship throughout their history, and I am not surprised that they have fought. But I will tell you, they've exceeded my expectations. I knew they were going to fight hard, and I knew it wasn't going to be a quick battle. But I got to tell you, they've even exceeded my expectations here, and I think that fundamentally they have already won this war. That we don't know what Putin's going to do in the future. He may level the entire country. He may ultimately occupy the entire country. But these Ukrainians have won this war because this is a Samson and Goliath event right here. And what you're seeing is you are seeing an outgunned, outnumbered military that is held together by a common goal, and that is to defend their way of life. And they are defeating probably one of the most renowned militaries in the world today, which has been a miserable failure.